while back we talked about setting warnings on a customer level. During that, I mentioned an automation to block new sales orders for customers that are overdue with us. And many of you expressed interest in that, so I want to show you how to do that here. We'll be covering quite a few concepts that we've covered before. We'll be using a scheduled action to set the blocking message. We'll then be using a server action to allow accounting to override this block. And then we'll be using a group to limit the visibility and functionality of that server action to only certain people. I'll be going through each of these step by step, but if you find yourself getting a little bit lost, it may serve you well to go check out some of my other videos. And for my would you rather have to dance everywhere you go or sing everything you say? So let's go into accounting and then go to customers and invoices. And then we're going to go to this filter that's already here called overdue. Okay. Then just to be, interesting, let's go ahead and group this by partner so we can see which ones will be blocked here. So we can see that customer 1 and 2 both have overdue invoices at this time. And since that's the case, we want our scheduled action to block these two customers for right now. So let's duplicate our tab real quick. And then making sure that we're in developer mode, your monkey should have its eyes uncovered if you have that add-on. We're going to go to scheduled actions and we're going to create a new one. And the first thing that we're going to do here is name it. So I'm going to put AL so everybody knows that I created this fairly easily. And we're going to say block customers with overdue invoices. Okay. The model is going to be res.partner or contacts, whichever one you want to type first. Now let's hop into our code. So the first thing we're going to do is create an overdue invoices variable, and we're going to populate that from here. So we're going to do environment, and we need to pull in our model, which is account.move. Copy that, throw that in here. We're going to do .search, and then we're going to do something nifty here. So again, you need to be in developer mode for this. We'll remove partner, and we're going to click on the cog right here. We're going to copy this whole thing right here just to give us the exact same list. So to make sure this is working properly, we're going to raise user error, and we're going to type len and see exactly how many records come into overdue invoices here. So let's save this, click run manually. You can see we get 2 records right now, which we hop back over to our invoices. We have 2 records at this point. So let's come back into our server action, and now we're going to do something with this. So we're going to say for invoice in overdue invoices, what do we want to do? Well, we want to set a blocking message on those for our sales orders. So let's come back over to our invoices here, click into one of these, and we want to say for the customer on this overdue invoice, that's partner ID. So we're going to say invoice.partner ID dot. So first we need to go into settings, and we need to make sure that all of our warnings are turned on. So sale warnings right now and customer invoices. Sale warnings is really the only one we're using at this point, but you can enable this other stuff too. So now let's go into contacts, and we're going to go into customer 1, turn on our developer mode here, go into internal notes, and let's make this a little bit easier for ourselves. So blocking message, let's go to studio, fine, block me there. Let's go into studio, go to internal notes. On here, we want sale warn. So we're going to bring that over here, stick that in square brackets. So sale warn equals, and let's come back over here and go into more to get the value that we want. So we want this to be block. So we're going to say equals block. And now we're going to say invoice partner ID, and we're going to set the message that we want here. So let's go back into internal notes, go to view, show invisible elements so we can see everything here. And we've got our message. So it's going to be this sale warn message. So we'll come back in here. We want to change this out, and it's going to be sale warn message. Now you can say whatever you want here. It really doesn't matter, but I'm putting here, this customer has overdue invoices. Please have the customer pay their overdue invoices before requesting further sales. So there's our scheduled action, the first piece that we need. Let's go ahead and test it. So we're going to click save first and then run manually. Okay, didn't see anything here, so we don't have any errors. Let's go back, close this out. We can go into sales. Okay, and we're going to do new one. And let's try out customer 1, who's one of the customers that has problems. You see, we've got a warning for customer 1. It says this customer has overdue invoices. Please have the customer pay their overdue invoices before requesting further sales, which is what we wanted. Let's try customer 2 as well to make sure we don't have any issues. Okay, looks like both of them worked just fine. So our scheduled action works beautifully, but now we need to set it up to actually be scheduled. So let's come back here and say, well, we're going to have this run every day. And the first time is going to be tonight. And we're going to say right before midnight. Okay, so nothing else is going on here. The last thing is we want to make sure the number of calls is negative so that it's not going to stop running at some point. And there's one key thing that we need to add in here as well, because right now, this is only going to set blocking messages. It's not going to remove them if the customer pays the invoice and accounting doesn't come back in and clean this up, which we wouldn't want to leave for them. So we're going to create a variable called warn message string. And we're going to set it equal to this guy. Okay. Darn mouse. Come on. And then we're going to throw it right here. Okay. And then we're going to look for blocked contacts equals, and we're going to basically do this search again. So res.partner, and we're going to say .search. And inside of that, we're going to look for anything where sale warn message equals this warning message string. Okay. The reason we're doing that is so that if there are other warnings, we don't accidentally undo those. So let's test this real quick. We're going to look at raise user error length, and it's going to be the number of blocked contacts that we want to see. So save, run manually. Okay, we only have one because this is actually after later in the video. So we've unblocked one of these. Now let's go through and say, or contact in blocked contacts. Let's go ahead and use what we did in our server action. Copy this back and say both of these are false, so it's no longer being blocked. So this sets us back to square one, and then we'll go ahead and use the rest of our server action, or I should say scheduled action, to block the customers that we should be blocking. So our scheduled action is good. Let's go ahead and hop over to the server action so we can override this sometimes. So let's leave all of our other stuff open here. Let's duplicate this. And now we're going to go into server actions, okay? And new. And we're going to say AL override contact warning. We're going to execute code with this, and our model is going to be contacts or res.partner. Before we go any further, let's create a group here. We want to have a group so that only certain people can use this action and certain people can't, obviously. So we're going to say allow override of contact warning, and we're going to add me to this group, or Mitchell admin, who I'm representing here. Now we're going to make a very simple action. We're going to copy everything from line 2 in our scheduled action. Whoop, mouse is being a bit funky. Everything from line 2. And drop that in here. Come on. And we're going to say for record, actually, we're going to say for invoice, our contact in records, because it doesn't always have to be for record in records. But we do need to change this and put it as contact. Okay, and contact here. And we're going to set both of these as false so that now a warning doesn't pop up for us. Okay, so save that. And yep, we've got the 15-day period. That's just because we're in a demo. And we're going to create that contextual action. and we'll go test this guy. So we're walking through trying to create a sale for customer 1. Okay, we get that warning. The customer reaches out to accounting, gets it paid. So accounting comes in here, goes to customers and customers. And again, we're trying to do this for customer 1. So they go into customer 1. We're going to hide this part eventually. So let's go in, try out our action real quick. So you can see it cleared all of this out. So we should be good. Let's go ahead and come back in here, try customer 1. And it looks like we're golden here. So we've got all of our pieces in place, but let's make sure this is nice and clean here. We'll go in and do a few things in Studio to make this a bit clearer for everybody. So first, let's come into our contact here. We're going to go to Studio, and you can see for internal notes, this whole section is already hidden within a certain group. So we don't necessarily need to worry about this too much. But beyond this, we want to add a button up top just so we don't have to worry about going in and clicking the cog, messing around with that. So let's go ahead and add a button real quick. We're going to say override warning for SO. We're going to run a server action, go to search more. Let's grab this and do AL. So all my stuff comes up. Override contact warning, confirm. Okay. And then we're going to click on this and limit the visibility to our new group. So we're going to search more and we're going to say override. Okay. And we're going to do this guy because that's the one that we created. Okay. And we obviously need to add an external ID at this point, which I'll show you how to do. So if you come up against this issue, what we want to do is make sure we're in developer mode, go to settings, go to users and companies and groups. Okay. And we want to select all of these, go to actions, export. Okay. And we want to include our external ID here. So if there isn't an external ID, it will go ahead and assign one. And now when we come back, and I actually checked the group so we could make sure that we're using the right one. It needs to be this guy right here. So we can select it now and we're good to go. So now when we close out, override warning for SO is here. But if I go back to my groups and we look at my users here, go to Mitchell admin and come down. So let's look for our override. See this guy, allow override of contact warning. I'm going to save that. I'll come back into customer 1, refresh, reload, come on. And now I can't see that button. So we'll be able to limit it to certain people that we want to be able to override that warning. So that was a lot, but this can be extremely useful for your company to control whether we're selling to people who aren't paying us. If you have any questions about this, as always, feel free to leave those in the comments below. And if you need a little bit more personalized help, my calendar is in the description and you can grab some time with me. But as always, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And if you found this helpful, please share it with others. Thanks. And for the would you rather, I'd probably have to go with the singing. Go ahead and drop your answer below.